We get some great stuff in that loop. Really happy with what
Perfection
Lisa's
is a
put together.
myth. Rather than hesitating, just go for it.
We interrupt our program. Sorry. Mary wanted to put something else in. I had to shut her down. Thank you, Mary. We'll have you back later. Anyway, this is Ron. This is WRWK LPFM. We are licensed in Midlothian. We serve Chesterfield, Henrico, Richmond, Goochland, Hanover, and the entire internet universe by way of this miracle of technology. Geeks rule, don't they? Gotta love a geek. Anyway, we want to welcome you to this Thursday afternoon. We have, of course, a couple of shout outs to our favorite people like Carytown Pack and Ship. I'm not going to tell you what they do, but they do it at 18 South Thompson Street, Richmond, Virginia. And nowadays, over the holidays, they're going to be doing 10 to 6 Monday through Friday and 10 to 2 on Saturday. To get in more of whatever they do at Carytown Pack and Ship, if you want to call them and see what they do, that's 355-8805. That's 804-355-8805. Great folks. Great folks. And of course, I want to mention to you that as you're listening to me in my ramblings, you could also send us what you think people should be hearing about the good things going on in RVA or anywhere for that matter. We have what we call love commercials, where people bring us ideas that they think make the world go round, even though they don't get a lot of ad bucks, they don't get sold a lot. So if you have something you think is very important, people should hear every day, you know, good quotes or something you said that's really cool, or something your kids more likely said that's really cool. You can give us those quotes and we'll run them, because this is what makes the world go round. We're here about making the world work. That's why we're called The Work FM. This is our work in the world that makes it worthwhile. I don't know why you're here. No, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm damn well going to enjoy this.
I know why
miracle.
I'm here.
Okay, that's one less person that doesn't know what they're doing. Well, I'll take it. In fact, this is probably a good time to mention this is time for Richmond Business Babes, and this is none other than Lisa Linnell.
Thank you. Thank you. That was my producer, the remarkable Ron. And good morning, or I should say good afternoon, and welcome to Richmond Business Babes here on WRWK 93.9 FM, The Work. Here on Richmond Business Babes, you will get your weekly dose of celebrating successful women all over the RVA. You'll get to meet and learn from women who are making it in the businesses that they own, women who are making money doing what they love and loving what they do, business women who are gearing up to bounce back and beyond in 2021. And who am I? I am Lisa Linnell, here to facilitate the conversation. And as I said, with me is the remarkable Ron. And we have a great last show of the year, because we're going to take a little time off, but a great show coming up this afternoon. We have, we're going to meet Stacy Shaw. She is the executive director of the Bird Theater in Carytown in Richmond, Virginia. And the Bird Theater, in case you're one of the few people out there who doesn't know, is a historic theater that is really an institution in the Central Virginia area. So they are open and running in this middle of this pandemic. They are doing great. So we're going to talk to Stacy Shaw first, and then after we meet with Stacy, we will talk to Erin Beard, who is co-owner with her husband of the River City Food Tours, the Tacky Light Tours, and the Petersburg Food Tours, the Churchill Walking Tours. So they are gearing up again and going and doing great. So we're going to talk with her as well. Now, as I like to do, and this is the last time I do it for the whole year, Ron, because, you know, it's our last show of the year, I'm going to put you on the spot. Yeah. So remarkable, Ron, let's see how remarkable you can be in your answer with this. Okay. The pressure is on Ron.
I warned you. I might answer your questions.
So there was an article in the Richmond Times-Dispatch, and it was talking about the holiday trends for adult gifts. And adult toys, as a matter of fact.
Oh, dear.
So what do you think some of the most popular adult toys, and I mean that in a very generic sense, okay, in a very nice.
Like a snowmobile, maybe, or a...
No. It's kind of much more basic than that. I think this
My
is our
gosh.
state. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's Play-Doh.
You're kidding
Play-Doh
me.
for adults. Yeah.
Wow. Play-Doh for
Okay.
adults.
It looks like
Excuse me a second.
Stacy Shaw is calling in. And as I mentioned, Stacy Shaw is our first guest here on Richmond Business Babes on WRWK 93.9 FM. And I'm so glad that she agreed to be on the show because she is a great force in making the Bird Theater come into its own. The Bird Theater is this historic Central Virginia theater in Richmond, Virginia, in Carytown. And she is the first executive director. They've never had one before. And she brings with her 30 years of experience as an arts administrator. She has worked for the Wells Theater in Norfolk, Virginia, and the National Theater in Washington, D.C. And she spent the last 6 years at the National Theater as Director of Institutional Advancement, establishing endowments and corporate and capital and major donor campaigns. She lives in Petersburg, Virginia, with her wife, who teaches at Virginia State University. And I just want to say one more thing about her before we bring her on, because I thought this was such a nice, accolade. The former executive director of the National Theater in Washington, D.C. is Sarah Chaplin. And she said, in my experience, Stacy Shaw is a talented arts administrator who brings an amazing amount of knowledge, passion, and heart. You got to have that heart. That's me saying that.
That's right.
To everything she undertakes. I have no doubt that she will bring that same energy to the Bird Theater and its mission. So welcome, Stacy Shaw.
Well, thank you so much. What a kind introduction. I really appreciate that.
Hey, you deserve that and more. I am just so pleased that you're on Richmond Business Babes here on WRWK 93.9 FM, The Work. And, before a couple of days before I talked with Lisa Rogerson there at the Bird, I went on your website and I saw that almost all the shows are sold out. They probably are sold out by now.
They are, yes.
Good.
We are so happy. The team there, we've been rebuilding, like a lot of organizations, in terms of our staff. We're very methodically, and trying to not get ahead of ourselves. So, and to make sure our patrons are comfortable. And so we were very pleased to be able to get to the point that we could offer a limited number of holiday shows.
I was so thrilled to see that. And what is the capacity level? Is it 1/2, 1/3?
Oh, it's a maximum of 50.
Oh,
So
okay. And what does the Bird normally seat?
1,250.
Oh,
Wow.
So what did the tickets go
so
for?
The $10.
That was very reasonable. I thought you were going to say $50.
Right. Well, no, we as a nonprofit, which a lot of people don't realize that we are a not-for-profit. We've been raising money since 2001 to keep the ticket prices low, so the theater is accessible to the community, which is why I think it's $4.99 and $6.99. So we only went up to $10 for this event. In order to maintain our mission.
Sure.
Make sure that we
Well, that's wonderful. Well, Stacy Shaw of the Bird Theater in Carytown in Richmond, Virginia, walk us down your career path that led you to the point where you are its very first executive director. Walk us down that path.
Sure. Well, I was fortunate enough to find out that this is a field of work when I was in high school, and so all of my education has been focused on theater management, and so I've been involved in theater management in quite a number of markets around the country on a professional level, including starting out in Norfolk after I finished my graduate degree at Virginia Tech. I wound up in Norfolk and Tidewater working for Virginia Stage Company.
And are you a Virginia native?
I am not. I'm a South Carolina native.
Oh, okay. What part?
Yeah. So I've also been a college professor teaching theater management, both at the College of Charleston and the University of Alabama, for stretches of time, and just really am deeply passionate about making live performance as well as film available to the public, because one of the things we're noticing right now with the performances that we're able to offer, even though it's only 50 people, we want people to feel comfortable and that in the space that they're in, even though we have a lot of seats. But we have heard from patrons, the overwhelming appreciation of the ability to go into a space and watch a film and feel, quote, normal for just a couple of hours.
Yes.
And
that's priceless, in my opinion. That is priceless. And it is such a Richmond institution for those who may not be aware. Explain the significance of the Bird Theater, if you would.
Oh, yes. Well, that's one of my favorite topics. Even in my own family, my in-laws had their first date at the Bird Theater.
Aww.
So it's quite personal in that regard. And additionally, time after time, every patron that comes in, we hear stories of the multiple generations within families who have been coming to the Bird because it was built in 1928 and has remained open all of that time.
Wow.
And so, they bring their parents and grandparents, and we hear the most wonderful stories, and the folks who really, they get quite emotional about the relationship of the birds and the memories that they've had in that location. And it's such a beautiful space.
It is. It really is.
I've worked in it. It is my absolute favorite. I fell in love with her immediately.
Well, and so now you went from Norfolk then over to DC?
Let's see, gosh, I went from Norfolk back to South Carolina.
Back to South
Carolina. Actually to Charleston, and I wound up teaching at the College of Charleston. Then I went to Alabama, and I ran an MFA program in theater management for the University of Alabama.
Oh.
I then went to Montgomery, Alabama, and worked for the Alabama Shakespeare Festival. This was the 6th largest Shakespeare festival in the world at the time.
Really?
And
you wouldn't think so.
I mean,
in Alabama.
Exactly, you wouldn't think
No
so,
offense.
right? I mean, but it was this is for people. Half the audience was a traveling audience, so they would come from all over the world, like 65 countries, during the repertory season, and so that was a really interesting experience. And Montgomery, of course, is such a meaningful place in the history of this country, and with so many important moments that have happened there, and so I worked and built up partnerships with local organizations, and that's actually one of my favorite things to do, is to work with other nonprofits and be as much a part of the community as possible.
Well, you will do very, very well. You already are, obviously, but that is what Richmond is really all about. So, yeah.
Everybody's been great, and I can tell you how much it pleases. I'm really speaking on behalf of everybody associated with the organization, the board, our staff, and the team. Just how much it pleases us to be able to let people back into the theater right now.
Yeah, especially now. We're so happy you're here, in Richmond doing this for us. Take me down the thought process that you had. You were in DC, okay,
right
there, and what made you decide to make that branch out to Richmond? What prompted that?
It's pretty personal, I'll have to say, because my wife, as you mentioned, she's a faculty member at Richmond State University, so we have a home in Petersburg, and we believe in investing locally, and I think Cherrytown is very much about that. It's about, and so is the Bird. It's about investing in as many local businesses as we can, and trying to support each other. And now is a moment in time when we really, really need to pull together and help each other.
True.
Yeah.
Now, did you have the home in Petersburg prior to making your decision to come here? Or?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've lived here
that
since
was very
2013.
easy transition. Then.
Right.
Yeah. You cheated.
It's nice to be able to work from home. Yes, exactly. I mean, we maintained an additional, very small place in DC for my work, but it's wonderful to be able to be home and
Oh,
in
that's
this
nice.
region. Yeah.
I
So
have a
that,
dear
for me,
friend
it
who
was
lives in Petersburg, and I just love that historic downtown area. I haven't been there for, I would say, at least a year, so I don't know how it's faring right now with the Christmas season. Have you been downtown much?
we have been, we like everyone, we try to be extremely careful. And I know that the businesses here are taking as many precautions as possible. And the same thing you see in Carytown. Letting only so many folks in to the retail spaces and the restaurants, and everyone is trying to, as far as I can tell, abide by the rules and whatnot. And I know that my team and we have worked very hard to make sure that we are creating as safe a space as possible under
Right.
these circumstances. Yeah,
That's
but
great.
we invest. Like I said, our family belief is investing in small local businesses, and so to me, the Birds. I mean, it's such an institution
It is.
in the
It truly
Richmond
is.
area, and it's probably, in my opinion, it's the most beautiful theater in the state.
Um,
And so I couldn't be prouder.
do you think there are Norfolk listeners who are saying, sure, she left
I know.
Norfolk and now she's saying
Sorry.
Richmond's
I know. I love the Wells Theater
choosing
so much.
sides?
I mean, it was like my first love right out of graduate school as
Yeah.
far as theaters. But it comes in second. I have to be honest.
Oh, okay. I'll take that.
But
That's fine. We'll take that here in Richmond.
yeah, exactly. I just think the Bird. I mean, probably in some ways because of its size, it's a palace, right? So I mean, it's a movie, palace, and I think that makes a big difference. I mean, our chandelier, as you may know, is 18 feet tall. I mean,
I did not know that. I'm glad you
it's
shared that
incredible.
with me and our
Yes,
listeners
exactly.
and viewers. Yeah. Well, what it was still, I'm sure you made that transition sound like a no-brainer, and maybe it was, but there must have been something that really either you had a reservation about, or maybe something that really drew you, other than the fact that you obviously do have a home in Petersburg. What was it that most attracted you to the position, and what was it that scared you, or that you had a little bit of a reservation about? Because I mean, from going from a DC, position to Richmond had to have given you pause.
Well, it really didn't, surprisingly, and I do understand the answer to your question. What was interesting is the similarity in the position between the two organizations. At the National Theater in Washington, there we were on Pennsylvania Avenue at night. It was the only thing open on that whole block. And so most of the government offices, across from the USAID and the Reagan International Trade Center, so it's just us, the hotel. And that organization, although it's the second oldest theater in the country, they had not really been raising money and asking the community for support all of those years. And so when I started there, I really implemented the first array of fundraising campaigns, if you will, and there was a great deal of capital improvements that needed to be made and upgrades. And so I find the situation is a little bit similar here. There's been a good deal of fundraising that's happened here. But again, it's sort of this way. I don't think a lot of people realize that the Bird Theater is a nonprofit and that we rely on the support, and have been for many years, to help us remain accessible. In addition to capital improvements, I mean, she was built in 1928, so like anybody, any structure like that needs some improvements, and so we're taking the fact that the theater is on the historic register very seriously, and looking at the fact that the Bird is, I think, one of the iconic structures in Richmond, and it plays a central role in terms of being an anchor in Carytown.
It does. That's a good way to put it, an anchor. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I often say...
So you're the captain of the ship.
Well, right. I just think it helps to draw other people, people down to other businesses, right? So I think we're part of that ecosystem, and we're very proud to be part of that. And so the National Theater was the same, in that there was no other reason to come down to that block in downtown DC at night unless, we were open. So,
And my grandson was in the Nutcracker Ballet for 2 years in a row. And one time they were at the Kennedy Center. But the time before that, I'm thinking it might have been the National Theater. I'm not sure. What street is that on?
it's on Pennsylvania Avenue, actually. Now, there's also
maybe
the
it
Warner
wasn't.
Theater, which is around the corner, just literally a few steps away, but on 13th Avenue. So that might be where the Nutcracker was.
Say the other one again that's around the corner?
The Warner Theater.
Yes, that was it. That was it.
That's probably
But it was
yeah.
very deserted at night in that area as well.
Exactly,
saw them at
exactly. And we knew, in talking to, of course, all of our neighborhood businesses there, that they were, their business, they could tell when we had a show and when we did not have a show. And I think that's the same with the Bird. When we have a screening, we're able to help other businesses, and bring people down. And so our goal is to continue to do that as much as possible, and really looking at things to do for the Bird and for the community for the next almost 100 years. So this is a long-term vision for the
Good. Well, we're glad you're the captain of the ship. And
you're
when,
very kind.
what is that? A rising tide raises all boats or something? I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm getting
That's
off
very
on.
much my philosophy, right?
Well-
Right. We just all have to work together.
And Stacy Shaw, executive director of the Bird, tell us what you envision for. And who would have known? Was COVID happening when you came on board? I
Yes.
can't. Okay,
Yes.
so you were already
Yes.
all right. So what do you envision for the Bird? Next year, 2021, and then maybe a 5-year. Do you have a 5-year plan? You sound like a planner.
Sure. I mean, I'll put it this way. I have a 5-year dream at the moment.
All right.
Rising during COVID certainly was difficult and challenging for everyone. And we have developed pathways for people to be able to be in the theater, like I said, on a limited capacity basis. So we started offering movie parties, private movie parties, and as a benefit of a donation for groups of 10, 20, and 30. The governor recently put a limit on that of 25. So we had found a way to let folks come in to the theater by choosing who they would be attending with. Thinking of like a movie pod. And that has actually gone very, very well. And then recently, again, with staff, we worked and practiced how to hold public performances. Although the tickets are limited to 50, we had to make sure that we were able to comply with the very important contact tracing methodologies that are being asked of businesses, because we want to, again, try to keep everyone as safe as possible and make them feel comfortable. But we brought back the holidays to the Bird, and that was something we wanted people to be able to have access to that tradition.
Yes, I was so thrilled when I saw that on your website. I was upset with myself that I hadn't looked sooner and could have gotten a ticket, but I think there's still some tickets available for after Christmas, the Christmas week,
yes.
Right?
Yes, we're continuing to add things again very carefully, just to see that we're not getting ahead of ourselves. And we're in communication with our patrons. We are doing surveys, asking them what else we can do to make them feel comfortable.
That's
And
great.
you asked about the 5-year plan. I think the 5-year plan really is to bring the theater back to, in terms of how she looks. We know that there are things that need to be improved. There are seats that need to be repaired, for instance, that people, it's a very obvious issue. They have outlived their life.
Yeah.
So we have the goal of trying to bring her back to her full glory.
That's
And
wonderful.
yes, and additionally, I think in terms of programming, we really look forward to the time when we can have more people in at a time, continue to make sure people feel comfortable, and do programming, not just what we have been doing before, but working with more community partners. And
Yes.
so that's a goal of mine. I guess that I really enjoy that and have tried to put those partnerships in place everywhere I've been.
Well, talking about community partners, right down the road is Alternatives, which is a fair trade, a store that I had the opportunity. Ron and I had Guadalupe Ramirez on the show, Richmond Business Babes. That was last week, right, Ron? Yeah. And then also speaking of community partnerships, well, this is just something that you would be interested in, because the next guest coming on later on at the bottom of the hour is she and her husband run Petersburg food tours, and they run the River City food tours too. So, I mean, the bird really doesn't have a lot to do with food. Do you have concessions though?
We do have concessions, yes, and we have for many, many years. And so
I couldn't remember.
there's a special taste for our popcorn, apparently, and I do taste it myself. We're kind of known for our special popcorn flavor.
Okay, good. Well, I know that you are very busy, especially now that the bird is busy this time of year. So Stacy Shaw, I want to thank you so much as Executive Director of the Bird Theater in Carytown in Richmond, Virginia, for coming on Richmond Business Babes. And before I let you go, I want to ask you, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Asking me about a song is a little bit easier.
All right, what's your top three? Top three.
My top three, well, Elf is really such a favorite.
That's a good one.
Not just of mine, obviously, but a lot of people. My wife and I did watch, of White Christmas recently, and
that's a good one.
And so
it's Bing Crosby,
exactly.
Right? Bing Crosby,
right, exactly. And so I actually would say those are my top two.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Stacy Shaw, just let our listeners and viewers know if they do need to reach you or find out more about the bird and the movie listings. How do they get in touch? Where do they go?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking. The best thing to do is to go to our website, which is Bird Theater, spelled RECHEATRE.org, and you can find out all the information about the movie parties. We are also for donation, allowing people to benefit to put private messages up, a personal messages
on the marquee. Oh, I like that.
And which has been so great. We've had 4 successful proposals under the marquee so far.
Wouldn't it be horrible if it wasn't successful? It'd be like,
right, I know. I mean, we really work hard to make sure that we don't mess up the plan.
Yeah.
It's got to be up at a certain time. We make sure it's there. And then of course for the films that we're able to open up to the public. And so if you go to the website, all the information is there. And please don't hesitate to send emails to info@birdtheater.org. I get those emails, and so does the rest of our team. And so one of us will get back to you very quickly, usually that day.
Wonderful. Well, thank Lisa Rogerson for making this all come together. But Stacy Shaw, thank you so much for coming on Richmond Business Babes here on WRWK 93.9 FM, The Work, and Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to both of you, and thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we'll have you back. Don't worry about that.
I look forward to it. Thank you both so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you, Stacy.
Bye-bye.
See, now, Ron, that is great, because in the middle of this pandemic situation, the bird is thriving. It's such a institutional force here in Richmond, and they're operating and they're showing movies, and people feel so good about it, and it makes the holidays seem normal when they're a little bit different than they were last year. But anyway, coming up next here on WRWK 93.9 FM, The Work, is our next guest. and I think she's calling in now, but I'm not really sure. She is Erin Beard. Is Erin on the line? Oh, good. Let me introduce you, Erin, before you come on. Erin Beard is the owner of the River City Food Tours. She and her husband are co-owners of that company, of the Richmond Tacky Light Tours, of the Petersburg Food Tours, of the Churchill Tours, and she is busy, but she has set out time to come on and tell us what is going on for Christmas with all of that. And she and her husband started this business, excuse me, and they were top rated tour with 5-star review from TripAdvisor. Okay. Her husband is Brian Beard, and he was named, they both were named Supplier of the Year by the Virginia Restaurant, Lodging, and Travel Association, and Richmond Magazine's Best Staycation Activity and Best Local Tour. And then also Brian was named winner of the Richmond Region Tourism Rising Star Award. And I went on your website, Erin, and what a good-looking couple you are. And then you have a lot of employees there on the website. So we are so happy that you will be our final guest for the entire year 2020 on Richmond Business Babe. So welcome. Thank you, Erin Bird, for coming on. How are you?
Thank you, Lisa. I'm doing great. That was a lovely introduction. Really appreciated that. You made us look really good.
Well, you are. You're great. And what's nice about you being on is that we just had Stacy Shaw, who is the executive director of the Bird Theater, and the Bird is getting back to a normal, as best they can, schedule, because they're a Richmond institution and people feel so good around Christmas time to see those Christmas movies. And so are you all, with the Tacky Light Tours, with the food tours. You have the brewery now, brewery tours. So tell us what you're offering this Christmas season.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we're really excited to hear about the Bird Theater as well. We talk about it all the time on our Fairy Down food tour, and it is a Richmond institution.
Well,
so I'm really
good,
glad to
because,
hear that.
Yeah, I gave you a plug to Stacy because she's all about partnership. So after the show,
Excellent.
Call her. Wink,
I'll
wink.
have to reach out to her.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so for the holidays, we are offering several things. But you were mentioning our Tacky Lights tours, which we are super excited about. So throughout the month of December, we are offering, anywhere from 3 to 4 hour Tacky Lights tours. We'll pick you up in our climate-controlled bus. And we will take you to some of Richmond's hot spots with the Tacky Lights, and the must-sees, the ones where you can get out and walk around. Thousands of feet of lights, and it's beautiful, and it's such a fun way, I think, any year to really end the year, around the holidays. But particularly in 2020, when maybe things were a little dreary throughout the year. It's just kind of a really fun way to bring a little bit of spirit to the end of the year.
Very true. And before you go on with that, just if you don't mind, address Erin Beard of the Richmond Tacky Lights Tour, of the River City Tour. Address for us, Erin Beard, what measures you put in place as far as, is it private parties only, or can I book a seat, but there might be somebody else that I don't know 2 seats away? How does that all work?
That's a great question. No, we are only doing private tours at the moment. And actually, per the governor's regulations and guidelines that came out just today, we were limiting our groups to 12 people, but we will begin limiting them to 10.
Okay.
And so again, it's only private tours. So you book the entire bus. You have the bus for that whole night. So it's you and whoever your 9 closest friends or family members are.
Okay.
Of course, we do ask that you wear a mask while you're on the bus, unless you're eating or drinking at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Our driver is always going to be wearing a mask, and we actually have a shower curtain, a see-through shower curtain that divides the
Good.
driver and the guest,
That's
so
good.
that there really is just that extra layer of protection there. So we're doing everything we can to
That's
make sure our
important.
guests feel
It-
safe
it
and
is.
our drivers and employees feel safe
Now,
as
do you
well.
have some availability left, or are you all booked?
We do have a few dates left. I think we've got, last I checked, about 7 dates left in December. My husband is actually out leading one this evening, which we're really excited about. So, but yeah, we've pulled out, I think, all of our Fridays and Saturdays. Those are always the more popular
Yes.
ones. But we do have some availability on Sundays and then throughout the week. So highly recommend getting on that quickly if
Good.
people
And
want to
then
get.
at the end of the show, if I forget, remind me to give the contact information out to our listeners and our viewers. So, in the height of the COVID, did you suspend your tours, or what was happening then?
Sure. Well, like a lot of small businesses, we did suspend tours. We went from 100 to 0 overnight, and we were for about 3 months we weren't doing anything. We weren't doing any of our tours at all. And we started operating again in June at a very limited capacity. So we only opened up our Churchill food tour and our Petersburg food tours because we can do those exclusively outdoors.
Right.
Which we felt was really important for the safety of our guests and our tour guides. So we did suspend operations. So we were doing tours in June. We started up again. And we did pivot a little bit. We started offering these weekly food boxes. We call them the Discover Richmond boxes.
That.
And
Yeah, tell
every
us about
week,
that.
yeah, it was really fun. It was,
Really cool.
we couldn't take you on a food tour, so we wanted to bring the food tour to you. It's kind of what we
And
marketed.
that was your
as,
idea,
so.
right? That wasn't
It
Brian's
was.
idea. That was your idea.
That was my idea.
It
I'm
was
pretty
very
proud of that.
creative. Bring it to you. I like that.
Well, I can't take full credit for it. We've seen some of our
Yes, you
other
can,
food tours.
Erin Beard. You can take full credit.
Well, we saw some other food tour companies around the country doing something kind of like it. And so we thought, hey, that would be a really cool thing to do here in Richmond. We have so many amazing local providers and restaurants.
And they were probably thrilled that you were requesting it, right?
Exactly. I mean, everybody had to shut down, or pivot in some way. So I think it was a really good way for us to collaborate with community partners. So that was really fun, and we're doing a holiday version of that right now as well. It's shippable, so it's all shelf-stable goods, and we'll ship it to you anywhere nationwide. And it's been a fun journey, and so we are really excited though about the news coming out about vaccine and hopefully eventually opening up our other food tours again, because we're ready to get back to it.
So the Petersburg food tour is up and running because it's walking, and the Churchill tour is also.
Correct. Those are both walking food tours, exclusively outdoors, small groups. We'll limit it to 10 people. All the food is included. And, a lot of times you'll get to hear from one of the owners or the chefs or the managers about why their restaurant is so great and what you're eating and why you're going to come back.
And the food is that you're dining outside.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So for right now, if the weather just kind of hangs on, we'll be good. If it snows like it did on Monday, we won't be so good.
we do tour rain or shine or snow, I guess. I have done tours in the snow, but only as long as it's safe, right? We're not going to take people out if it's icy or hurricaning. But yeah, as long as the weather is, is okay, we'll stick it out. And we have found that a lot of times inclement weather actually brings out the fun in fun people. Like they're able to take that situation and really make it even more exciting.
I think I'm a fun person, but I'm going to think about that. Inclement weather brings out the fun in fun people. I like that. That's going to be my motto.
Like a fun person.
Thank you. Ron will tell you off the air how fun I am, right, Ron?
Barrels of monkeys. Barrels of monkeys.
There you go. But now when it's outside, some of the outdoor seating is tented or not at all?
Currently, we're not under any sort of tent that I can think of off the top of my head.
What about not the fireplace, but
with the heaters
the
and the
heaters.
fireplaces and whatnot. I mean, some of the restaurants do have those available, which is really nice, especially if it is cold outside.
Mhm.
So we haven't done any tours where it's been insanely freezing
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll have to get back to you on that. But
You know where I
But,
went the other
yeah.
day with my daughter? I went to, in Scott's Addition, kind of way in the back, there's I guess a winery, and I can't remember the name of it. Do you know which? It's like almost all.
Bramley,
Let's say it again.
I think it's called Bramley.
Yeah, that was nice, and that was very much outdoors. Is
Oh,
that on
yeah,
your
it's
list?
beautiful space. It is not on our list, actually. They opened up, I think they opened up right either as the pandemic was starting
Mhm.
or right before, and we haven't gotten to Scott's Edition yet. It was next on our list. We were slated to begin in April,
Mhm.
and then the pandemic had other plans, so we haven't actually launched Scott's Edition yet, but it's
That's going to
coming.
be a biggie.
Oh, we're so excited.
Or is that happening as well at this time, or is that on hold for the moment? Or
Nope, we're also doing brewery tours, same as Tacky Light tours. It's only private groups, though. We work with the breweries who are really excited to have groups come, and again, outdoors. And some of them have the indoor kind of tented space like you were talking about. So it's really up to the group if they feel comfortable, being in that kind of in between space. But
is Legend one?
Legend is one of our main partners, actually.
Okay. I think I saw
definitely
your
park our
bus or your van out there. Do you
Yep,
park?
we
Yeah,
park our
I did.
bus
I
there.
saw it. Yeah, we were sitting out there. Yeah, that's a great space.
Yeah, we
what,
love Legend.
What about, is Hardywood one, or?
Hardywood is not one, not yet, but if they're listening, we'd love to get in touch with them, but they are not on our tour currently.
So
no.
who else would be on your brewery tour?
Sure. So we also work with Strange Ways Brewing. They're a fantastic partner. They put on a really good experience. They love to talk about beer and their process and the different kinds of beer. So when you come on our tour, you get to drink the beer, right? That's the most important part. But you also get a little bit of a educational experience, if you will, which is really fantastic for a lot of our guests. We also work with Rich Brow Brewing down on 20th Street, kind of in the Shackle area, which is really fun. They've been around. Well, they started a long time ago, like decades ago, but it's kind of gone through several iterations, and so they just reopened a couple years ago. And so that's been a really fun kind of reemergence for them, and for them to work with us has been really wonderful.
That's great. And you're I have to say to Ron, my producer, I'm getting a little thirsty, Ron.
Oh,
all this talk about beer and
how about another beer show?
yeah, we have to do a beer and wine and spirits show. And I had just read that the Three Crosses Distillery in Powhatan just recently received an award, so that was nice. But I guess you have to, for the sake of economics, for financial and time economics, you can't really go out to, your circumference, I would think, would have to be somewhat limited. That's not a brewery anyway.
Yeah, well, we do, we do breweries and cideries. We haven't really delved into the world of wine and spirits yet, but, again, maybe one day. I would not hate that.
Well, now I wanted to talk to you, if you're comfortable, Erin Beard of River City Food Tours and Tacky Light Tours and Churchill Walking Tours and Petersburg Food Tours and assorted other tours. Erin Beard, if you're comfortable talking about financials, and I'm going to say everything pre-COVID because that's its own unique, odd set of circumstances, right? But prior to this, when you look at your percentages for all your tours, were you getting like 80% of your revenue from 20% of the tours? Like, were there the real money makers, the cash cows, so to speak, or was it kind of across the board? Or
are we talking about in combination with the brewery tours?
Yeah,
and
just all the businesses, because they're all. Is there a corporate name for like that? It all falls under, or not?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess yes. Our LLC, we are actually called Yellow Umbrella Tours.
Yellow Umbrella,
that was
that's cute.
Yeah, that was what we started off as. That was when we first moved back to Richmond, and we had no idea about the existence and the amazingness that is Yellow Umbrella Provisions. And so we decided that was going to start being confusing. So we were only Yellow Umbrella for a few weeks. That's our LLC, but we operate now as River City Food Tours.
River City. You're making Ron laugh over here. He's chuckling.
Yeah, I live near there. Yellow Umbrella.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and
It's going over my head. I don't know what Yellow Umbrella is. I'm trying to be in the know, but I don't.
Provisions.
Yellow Umbrella.
Yeah, they do seafood. They do seafood and things like that. They
stuff,
sell, and it's fantastic.
Nice
but we don't sell seafood, so.
Okay.
So anyway, we've been pretty much exclusively doing food tours until just this year, until COVID, really. So all of our revenue came from food tours. Only until, I guess I'd say a month or two ago when we actually started operating Richmond Brewery Tours. So we bought the business in May of this year, if you can believe that.
I do. Well, you probably got it for a great price then, because of the situation. Do you believe that it was undervalued and you bought it at sort of a bargain basement price, given the nature of nothing? It's unpredictable what would be happening with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely true. But we actually were in talks with the owner last October, so this was prior to anything. So it certainly wasn't a COVID impulse purchase or anything. It's been in talks for a little while. It didn't go through until May, just because of everything that happened.
Okay. And who was the former owner? Who was that for the brewery tours?
Sure. His name is Tommy Miller, and he's a great person. He operated Richmond Brewery Tours for about 7 years, but he has another full-time job, and he didn't really have the time to dedicate to operating Richmond Brewery Tours full-time and make it really what he thought it could be. And so he reached out to us and a couple other, I think, tour operators in the area. And we were just super excited about the possibility of kind of expanding what we were offering. Beer is just a natural extension of food. And when it comes to Richmond, that's just what we're about.
Mm-hmm.
So it really worked out really well for, I think, everyone involved.
I'm going to give you a tip. My husband and I were sitting out, on the Legends deck there. And we were, and I think I was looking at your tour bus parked there. And I was saying, we were talking about the tours, and he was saying, wouldn't it be cool if you could, and I don't know what the liability of this would be. I don't know. And logistically, I don't know if it would work, but you did a Richmond City brewery tour kayaking down the river. So like you would be, I know, liability city, right? But you're kayaking, and then you pull over and you go to Legends, and then you're kayaking and you pull over. I don't know how many breweries are.
Who's a designated paddler?
I don't know, but I thought that was
designated
cool.
Paddler.
Yeah, that was Ron saying that. I don't know. I just thought that was a kind of cool concept to be like, but I don't know how many breweries are on the river anyway.
Well, within walking distance, I think it would be kind of tough, but I mean, hey, we're always open to suggestions. So it does sound like a really fun thing, though.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Mm-hmm.
Fun or disastrous, one or the other,
I was
or
going to
both.
say, I don't know. I think the liability insurance might prevent us from doing that.
Right. Well, that's good. So I'm glad that in the midst of the height of the pandemic, really, you and your husband moved forward and negotiated and purchased the Richmond Brewery Tours, which you have been thinking about doing since prior last October, more than a year ago. You took that leap of faith. Now, did you have numerous discussions as to whether or not you were making the right decision, the wrong decision to expand your touring business at such a time? What were the discussions you and your husband had about that?
Oh gosh, Lisa, I don't think we slept for 5 months, going back and forth, trying to figure out if this was the right decision for us. But ultimately, we talked about the pros and cons. But ultimately, we thought, we are going to get past this, and I mean this literally the global we, we're going to get past this, and you know, we really think that life can return to, you know, what it was prior to COVID with all the, you know, science and amazingness that's going on in the world. So we thought that ultimately it was the right decision for us.
Excellent.
We were excited to expand into the brewery scene and, you know, just into that world. And so we felt, you know, it's a leap of faith. It was nerve-wracking as heck, you know, signing those papers and sending that check, but I think ultimately we made the right decision, and we're just super excited about what it means for everything, you know, going forward.
Excellent. Well, we're excited for you here at WRWK 93.9 FM, The Work. Now, when you signed that check, did you and your husband have a time frame as to when you think that you would recoup your investment? Do you think it'll be by the end of 2021, or you don't have a clue, or it's what were your thoughts about that?
I think it's somewhere in between. When we were first talking about it, we were, you know, pre-COVID, we were
Right.
really excited and thought by the end of 2020 we would be able to recoup what we had put into it, just because we were really confident in our abilities and to put forth this really amazing experience for folks. And now I think you know, end of 2021 would be great. That would be really fantastic. But I guess ultimately we don't really know is the answer, which is what you said earlier. So somewhere in between.
Right. Now, when you buy an existing tour company, such as it's Richmond Brewery Tours, is that the name of it? Richmond Brewery.
That's correct.
Tours? Okay.
Mhm.
So, are you buying the goodwill of the business, the name of the business, the partnerships, and the physical transportation, the bus, or vans or whatever they are? Is that what are you buying when you do that?
You're spot on. That's exactly
Okay.
what it was. We purchased all the physical assets, and like you said, the partnerships and the goodwill. Partnerships. It's not something you can actually purchase, but the previous owner was really amazing about making introductions to all of his brewery partners and getting us in the door, and everybody was just really excited for Tommy and his new life, and for us and our new life, and everybody was on board with it. So yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was the goodwill and the physical assets and all of that.
And Aaron Beard of River City Food Tours, I am thinking that the breweries were happy that it was going to continue, because that's promotion for them. So if he had just closed the business down without a buyer, that would have hurt the breweries. So I would think that they were very happy about the transition to you and your husband, Brian Beard.
Oh, I hope so. They all said they were excited. So,
what's not to be excited about? Come on.
I really think, and it always shows in our tours too. The restaurants on our tours and the breweries on our tours, you can always tell when they're really excited about the partnership too. It really shows to our guests when they're just, we've got folks who work at these establishments, and the owners and waiters and bartenders who are just always happy to see us and always ready to talk about their business and talk about our partnership. And it just, it's really, it shows and it shines through, and those are the ones that our guests remember too, the most.
Sure.
So it's always really fun.
I really like meeting the owners, and I was with my friend Deb, and we were at the Lily Pad on Osborne Turnpike there on the James River. Do you know where that is? The Lily Pad?
I've heard of it. I'm not.
You might want to check that one out, because that's an outdoor one as well. And the owner came over and said, hey, how is everything? And he was very nice. And we were chit-chatting with him, but it wasn't like, hey, how's everything? And we said, great. We're enjoying whatever. And he said, okay, thanks, and just went on to the next table. I mean, we had a real conversation with him, and that kind of made an impression on me. I like that, so
Absolutely. People
when
remember that.
Yes. And so I would think that would be cool that, on your tours they're meeting the owner, and he's talking about or she is talking about the history of her restaurant or their restaurant.
Right.
Is Gersi on your list? GERSI, Gersi? That's near the Science Museum.
That's a great place, but they are not on our tours right now.
Because we went there last, I guess late October, early November, and I was blown away. And it was funny because I read something about it, and for those who are listening or watching, Gersi is on a side street from the Science Museum in the Children's Museum, right off Broad. And I read that that's like the kiss of death, that location or something, where like every other restaurant that ever tried it there, never had success. So I was just wondering, are they still in business? Because I really enjoyed very much the meal there.
I do believe they are still in business. I have not heard otherwise. So, and I really hope they are. I mean, I know they're a spectacular restaurant. I think they're doing, a good takeout and delivery. I'm not sure if they're open indoors. I could not vouch for that.
Yeah, it was very tight in there, and it was there. I don't think there was any outdoor dining from what I could recall.
Right.
It's a small space, so yeah. I think
they might have some. I think they have some outdoor dining, and I think right now they're doing a really limited capacity inside.
Yeah. Well, once they get up and running, you can add them to your list.
Oh, heck yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, Erin Beard, I know you're very busy putting together all these tours before the end of the year and making Richmonders' Christmas dreams come true with the food and the drink and the walking and the talking. So tell us how we can get in touch with all your different tours, and run down the list of tours one more time for us.
Absolutely. So you can find us online at rivercityfoodtours.com. And that will take you to all of our other businesses as well. But you can also find us online at petersburgfoodtours.com and richmondbrewerytours.com. We try to make it as simple as possible for you. So website, and we have Facebook and Instagram. We're pretty active on social media, so you can find us on there as well. We like to post pictures of really delicious looking food, so hopefully, get you really excited for your upcoming tour.
Sounds great. I mean, it's the holiday season to gain 10 pounds, so you might as well do it in a great way, right?
That is so true. Exactly.
If you're going to go down, just do it, the best fun possible. And is there a phone number?
There is a phone number. You can always call us at 804-479-8929.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Erin Beard of River City Food Tours, thank you so very much for being on Richmond Business Babes here on WRWK 93.9 FM, The Work. We are so happy to have you on, and Merry Christmas to you and all the best. And we're looking forward to you coming back in 2021.
Thank you so much. It's been really fun chatting with you. I hope you guys have a great holiday season.
Call again.
Yes, thank you very much. Bye-bye now. All the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Erin Beard, River City Food Tours, Petersburg Food Tours, Churchill Food Tours, Tacky Light Tours, and Richmond Brewery Tours. So if you're hungry or thirsty, talk to Erin, and she'll set you up on a tour. And that pretty much wraps it up here with Richmond Business Babes. I want to thank you for listening. If you are a Richmond Business Babe, or a Richmond Business Babe and who wants to be on the show, please contact me. I am Lisa Linnell, your host, and that's Lisa, Lisa, Linnell, Linnell, at hotmail.com, and tell me who you are and why you want to come on. And who is a Richmond Business Babe? Well, I'm glad you asked, Ron. We come in every shape, every size, every color, and every age. We are entrepreneurial women who are rocking it out in the businesses that we own and making money doing what we love. And to all you Richmond Business Babes listeners and viewers, I just want to say you're doing a great job. Merry Christmas, and we will see you next year. Bye-bye.
Well, that was okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to end our little stream.